Thanks for joining me on the Listen Up Girl podcast. I'm bringing you your daily LGBTQ plus news podcast for Monday, August the 10th. I'm your host, Zach Randles-Friedman. Today, we got a New Hampshire betrayal story that's rocking Democrat politics, a children's hospital caving to a federal pressure, two out lawmakers trying to undo a 40-year ban in New York, a hairpiece mystery gripping the internet, a brand new baseball league putting queer athletes front and center, and a game show host who set the record straight in his best way possible. 6 stories today. Let's get into it. With the first story, The Friend Who Wasn't. We're starting with a story about a betrayal in progressive politics because sometimes the people who say they're your friends and allies really aren't. Transgender New Hampshire State Representative Alice Wade came forward this week with the accusation that a fellow Democrat state representative, someone she considered a close friend, spent months pressuring her to drop out in her congressional race because he didn't think a trans woman could win a higher office in the state. He called her repeatedly. He threatened to end her friendship if she stayed in. When she said she finally confronted him, he admitted it. He apologized publicly afterwards, saying that the impact of his words didn't match his intent, but the damage was done. A progressive activist who'd previously endorsed him has already pulled her support. Wade said it felt like a profound betrayal, and honestly, that tracks. It's one thing to fight bigots, it's another thing entirely when pressure comes from someone standing right next to you, and that's supposed to be your friend. Our next story is a hospital caves, sticking with the theme of pressure tactics, but this time it's coming straight from the federal government. A children's hospital has become the latest medical center to stop providing gender-affirming care to trans youth after the Department of Justice used a legal settlement to force its hand. This hospital now joins more than 20 medical centers across the country that have shut down trans youth care in response to DOJ threats. This isn't happening through legislation, and it isn't happening through courtroom rulings on the merits. It's happening through settlement pressure, a quiet, methodical squeeze that doesn't make as many headlines as a courtroom battle, but ends up with the same exact results. Fewer places for trans kids and their families to get care from their doctors that are recommending it. Our next story is 40 years later. Now here's a policy story with some real nuance to it. 2 out New York state lawmakers introduced a bill this week to repeal a 1985 law that banned bathhouses and adult sex venues statewide, a law passed at the height of the HIV/AIDS epidemic. The lawmakers, along with HIV and LGBTQ plus health organizations backing the bill, argue the ban did the opposite of what it promised. It drove sex venues underground instead of shutting down risk, cutting people off from safer, regulated spaces and health resources that used to live inside of them. One of the bill's sponsors put it simply in 1986, the 30 years of public health research since then doesn't support keeping the ban in place. New York would be following cities like Minneapolis, San Francisco, and Miami, which have already made these more modern, similar to the laws. It still has to be clear that both chambers of the legislature and get the governor's signature, so this is a very much ongoing move, not the final word. Our next story, number 4, is the great hairpiece debate of 2026. Okay, we need a palate cleanser, and the internet delivered one this week. The orange convicted felon showed up in a rally in Las Vegas with what a lot of very observant internet users are calling a dramatically fuller, fluffier, and suspiciously youthful head of hair, compared to the photos of just a few days earlier. Side by side, our comparisons are everywhere. The jokes are everywhere, and one commentator's description has already become the line of the week. Somebody called it the gender-affirming hairpiece. Listen, we don't know what's going on up there. Nobody does. But we do know if you're going to spend years mocking other people for how they present themselves, the internet is going to have a field day the second your own hair does something unexplained. That hair has been out of control since day one, so he needs to do something. He should just shave it and just go with it and stop using that orange spray tan. Jesus Christ. Our next story is play ball and proud of it. Time for something genuinely exciting. Women's professional baseball returned to American soil for the first time in over 70 years this month. And one of the most talked about parts of this launch isn't just history-making comeback, it's who's leading it. Several of the league's most visible, most promoted athletes are openly queer or gender nonconforming, And they're not tucked away in the background of this new league's marketing. They're front and center in the campaigns, the launch videos, and the player spotlights are introducing this whole league to the world. It's a small thing that's actually a big thing. When a brand new professional sports league gets to decide who represents it from day one and chooses to let its queer athletes shine without hiding them, that is a real statement about where women's sports is headed. Love that. And next stories, he stands with his people. And we're closing today with a good one. Jeopardy host Ken Jennings found himself in an unexpected mess this week after a snarky joke about a trans right related media boycott got picked up by right wing outlets who tried to spin it as proof he is quietly anti trans. Jennings was having none of it. He posted a full, unambiguous response, setting the record straight. I don't think there's an issue today I care about on a personal level more deeply than trans rights, he wrote, and adding that the joke landed badly didn't change a single thing about where he actually stands. He closed it out with a line that's been getting shared all over social media. He doesn't stand with one of the tabloids trying to twist his words. He stands with trans friends and families. In a media landscape that loves to manufacture a gotcha, it's genuinely refreshing to watch someone just refuse to let the narrative get hijacked. I love that. Good for you. Let's all watch Jeopardy and bring those ratings up for him. So that's your show from Monday, August 10th. If today gave you something to think about or just something to laugh at, go ahead and hit follow or subscribe so you never miss an episode. Leave us a rating and review. It genuinely helps get more people to find the show. And share this with someone who needs to hear it. And come on and find us on social. I'm at The Real Zachary on Instagram and YouTube. I'll be back tomorrow with more LGBTQ plus news. And thank you for listening. Have a great week.